Or could it be the first time ever somebody's been nominated in leading and supporting? Oh, Gavin Lee.
I've once again hit myself in the face with this whiteboard. Oh my god, hey!
Hello!
Welcome back to my Stagey YouTube channel. If you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Mickey Jo, and this is...
Aaron James.
My Stagey boyfriend. And today, we are going to be trying to predict who might be nominated for the... Rude.
That was a really weird siren. They're like, bleep, 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 bleep.
And today, we are going to try to predict together who and what might be nominated for the 2023 Olivier Awards. So if you don't know what the Olivier Awards are, they're like the Tony Awards but in the UK. And if you don't know what the Tony Awards are, then they're like the Academy Awards but for stage acting. And if you don't know what that is, that's when people stand in front of you rather than being on a cinema screen. If you're still lost, I don't think I can help you. And there is a year in which shows can open in order to be eligible for next year's ceremony. And this year's eligibility ended this week, which is why we are here now talking about it. And we have been anticipating this all year. It's a very big deal in the theatre calendar, and we are both kind of obsessed with awards shows and awards seasons.
Yep. The Oliviers are very prone to creative nominations sometimes.
Yeah, we're going to try and guess in a straightforward way. But being the Olivier Awards, they will surprise us.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get this 100% correct, nor do we expect to. This is not us saying who ought to be nominated or who we would like to see nominated. We're just trying to sort of feel the mood of the industry.
Yeah.
So I have a whiteboard. Excuse me. I'm taking this very seriously. Here it is. So I think we should just kick off with Best New Musical.
Okay. So, for Best New Musical, do you want me to run them down?
Tell us everyone who's opened in is eligible.
So, we have Newsies, Tammy Faye, Bonnie and Clyde, Mandela, Hex, 101 Dalmatians, The Band's Visit, Cages, Standing at the Sky's Edge, and Sylvia.
So if we're anticipating 4 nominees here...
So I'm expecting 5.
Are you expecting 5?
Because last year was 5 as well. And I don't think... Last year didn't really cause as much feelings that there would be 5, but there was.
Okay. Who do you think?
So I think Newsies is going to get one.
I think Newsies is going to get one as well. I think with the whole immersive aspect and just the way that that's been put on, I think Newsies is definitely being buzzed about a lot at the moment. I am going to say, I do think Standing at Sky's Edge,
Standing at Sky's Edge.
Which has just opened just this week. It literally snuck in just before the deadline. So Standing at the Sky's Edge. My pen has run out. Excuse me, everybody. You want to add another one to the list?
I think that it is quite likely that The Band's Visit will get a nomination.
You think The Band's Visit will? Yeah, it's very Olivier's.
Yeah, and it did so well at the Tonys that the Oliviers don't like to not nominate something that won at the Tonys. I've not really known them to maybe not give them the win. That's happened before. I've never not known them to agree on nominating it for Best New Musical.
So we have 3 so far. I've just hit myself in the face with a whiteboard.
You did.
We've got 3 so far. I do think Sylvia is going to get a nomination as well.
Yeah.
Do you not think it will?
So I initially had it like as a dead cert, and then what was the show that? It was when I went. It was because of Tammy Faye.
Yeah.
That was my in between that made me go, oh, I don't know if it's Tammy Faye. It became this thing of there's so the 4 that I was stuck between was between Sylvia, The Band's Visit, Tammy Faye, and Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know if they put 2 commercial shows in, and then you're subsidised for having gone into the commercial West End. And because Bonnie and Clyde's coming back, I didn't know if that would give the impetus. But they vote a lot earlier, I think. This is where it's confusing as to know when people put in their nominations.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if Bonnie and Clyde is going to sneak into this one or if it's going to be Tammy Faye. Is that what we're debating for this 5th spot?
I think so.
I think knowing the Oliviers, probably Tammy Faye.
Yeah.
Okay. but that would be controversial.
Well, the thing is you can't look at last year to compare it to, because last year was, in the majority, it was a commercial year.
Yeah.
So everything was pretty much either Broadway transfers or West End commercial jukebox shows.
Yep. Our thoughts are here. The nominees that we think we're going to see for Best New Musical. We're not going to talk about who we think is going to win at this stage.
Nope. We'll wait till we actually know the nominees.
We will. So, while I am furiously erasing all of this, do we want to talk about musical revivals?
Yeah. So I will talk you through them. So we have My Fair Lady, Sister Act, Grease, Elf, Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Legally Blonde, Oklahoma, and South Pacific.
Okay. There's 3 on that list I think we're definitely going to see featured.
By any chance are they the classics?
They are the classics. I think
it's really rare for them not to, because the material's already won so many awards, so as long as it's a big production that's glorious, they normally get them. And one of them, the other 2 proved really successful on Broadway.
Yes.
So they also have that pedigree that's come over again, where it's like, the Tonys have said these are awards-winning productions, so Olivier's, are you going to join us?
Yeah. A gauntlet has been laid down, everybody. So, Best Musical Revival. The most certain, I think, is probably Oklahoma.
Yeah.
With the exclamation mark. Then I think probably South Pacific.
Yep. A big sign of Chichester.
And then the only one I'm less sure about is My Fair Lady, but I'm still expecting to see it on there.
Yeah.
And then battling for that 4th spot, we have what? We have the Grease Curve Revival.
Elf,
we have
Sister Act.
Yeah.
And Disney's Beauty and the Beast. And Legally Blonde.
Or Legally Blonde. It's a tricky one. I don't know. I don't know if we'll see Sister Act featured there, only because it didn't feel as much like a revival as a lot of these other ones did. It just felt like Sister Act is coming back, and obviously it was a different production.
It was a completely different production.
It was a completely different production, but I don't know why it doesn't feel like a revival to me against something like A Legally Blonde. Or, indeed, Oklahoma and South Pacific. They really felt much more like...
I think it's
revivals.
because it wasn't as much of a completely different direction.
Yeah.
It's interesting. See, part of me is like, so if we're looking at past things, Regent's Park is never normally shunned, which has been my point for Legally Blonde, is just that it's never often shunned. But part of me is leaning a bit to, I don't think it'll go to Grace.
I think Legally Blonde is this 4th spot. I really do.
Yeah, I'm thinking so, because it was either that for me or it was Beauty and the Beast. Because that production is going to be going to Broadway. You know, the whole story of it starting here and now it's going to Australia and it's going to Broadway.
I don't know if it's going to work against Beauty and the Beast and Grease that their London stays both kind of felt like extended tour stops.
Yep.
Because they were both touring productions that came out of Beauty and the Beast, toured, sat down in London, and then continued to tour. Grease had done a tour beforehand and then did this London run sort of separately. But I think... I don't know, I'm now questioning whether one of South Pacific or My Fair Lady is going to drop off of this list, but I'm getting more and more confident about Legally Blonde and definitely Oklahoma. So these are the 4 we have collaboratively come up with. Oklahoma, South Pacific, My Fair Lady, Legally Blonde. Oh, this is already very tense.
It is.
It's already very difficult because there's great shows and there's great theatre that is going to just miss out, which is a shame.
I think with the acting categories, we go for 5 for each, even though it's rare for the supportings to go to 5. But it's like our one person. It means that if it's a 4, hopefully we'll have covered all 4 of the people in that 5.
Okay.
But again, this is not who we personally want to get them. This is going to be like realistic, who is likely, who the Oliviers do have this thing of, if somebody has a pedigree that they have, when they are in a role in a show, the Oliviers are very likely to give them an award.
Yeah. Shall we talk about leading actresses?
Yeah.
Because
It's
we have
tense.
been talking about this all year, I'll be honest. So, best leading actress in a musical. I have one first off that I think we can just put down, which is Katie Braben in Tammy Faye.
Yep.
I think that's a given.
Yep.
She's won an Olivier before. She's been nominated before for other things. I think definitely she gave such a standout performance in Tammy Faye that was universally acclaimed. So I think we're definitely going to see her. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to write the names and the shows because this is just... I'm already getting repetitive strain injury from rubbing this out.
This is why I didn't say I'll do the writing.
I foolishly, I just volunteered, didn't I?
Yeah.
Next up, who are you going to add to this?
Miri Masika
Yes.
for the band's visit.
Yes. Who we did not get to see in the band's visit.
No, we saw
Emma
Emma.
Kingston.
Yeah.
But heard exceptional things about Mary Masika.
and Katrina Lenk won for that role.
Katrina Lenk won for the role.
For the
so,
Tonys.
yeah, there is form for that being an award-winning role. Back to me now. This is a tricky one. This is where it starts to get a little bit harder. And at this point, I feel like we have to talk about the Beverly Knight of it all.
Yes.
Beverly Knight has been nominated for the Oliviers many times.
Mm-hmm.
She has not yet won
Nope.
an Olivier Award. And this year, she's done some tremendous work
Yeah.
in both Sister Act and Sylvia.
Mm-hmm.
And I assumed that this would be enough to just guarantee her a leading actress in a musical nomination. However, it emerges her performance in Sister Act is a leading performance, and I have it on good authority that her performance in Sylvia is being considered in the supporting category, which surprised me because she's being...
It feels like two leading roles, same as Wicked.
Yeah, in the marketing, in the titling of it all, she's there. It's very much Beverly Knight in Sylvia. So this now divides things, and I don't know which category we're more likely to see her get an actual nomination in, but I think it's probably Sylvia. I mean, she could be nominated in both.
Well, this is what I've been wondering. Could it be the first time ever somebody's been nominated in leading and supporting? Because that would be a moment.
I'm willing to consider some other leading actresses for now and hold off adding her to this list for Sister Act, because I think we're going to see her for Sylvia. Do you think Sharon Rose is going to get a leading actress one for Sylvia?
Quite possibly.
Do you want us to add her to the list?
My person that I was going to put down was Rachel Wooding.
I also agree on Rachel Wooding. Now,
Rachel-
she spells her
Rachel-
name with an A-E-L, doesn't she? She does. She does spell her name with an A-E-L. Rachel Wooding. Yes, I think of all of the three, and they could do a three of them all together nomination.
Yeah.
The Oliviers love a moment like that. But I think of all of the cast of Standing at the Sky's Edge, Rachel Wooding is the one who is most likely to get an Olivier nomination for her performance. So we've got Katie Braben, we've got Miri Masika, we have Rachel Wooding. Courtney Bowman won the What's on Stage award.
Yeah.
Do we think she's going to make it into the Olivier nominations? Sheridan won for Legally Blonde back in the
She
day.
did.
It's not like the Oliviers don't like a Legally Blonde, but I don't know, Courtney Bowman is so of that different kind of a set when you think about the people who you always see nominated for Oliviers.
Yeah.
And then you think, like, Courtney Bowman is part of that group of really popular, young, up-and-coming performers, but they don't always break into this. Did Amy Atkinson get a nomination for Pretty Woman?
No.
Would be my point. So, alongside these three, it's just a very different vibe.
So people we've got to contend with here is you have Bev in Sister Act.
You have Beverly Knight in Sister Act.
You have Gina Beck in South Pacific. You have Amara in My Fair Lady.
I forgot about Amara. Amara, I think, was the best reviewed part of My Fair Lady.
Yeah.
And probably has to go down
Yeah.
on this list as well. Now we have 4, and there probably only will be 4. That's why this category is so stressful, because we haven't written down Gina Beck yet, or Bev, or Courtney Bowman, or Frances Mailey McCann for Bonnie and Clyde.
Or Danielle Fiamagna.
Or Danielle Fiamagna for Mandela. I think Mandela had such a fraught run, for a lot of reasons beyond their control, but I don't know if
Enough people saw it, or
if it was even submitted in the end. I don't know. I'm not anticipating us
Yeah.
seeing much for Mandela. I mean, we could get a big surprise here, like the leading actress for Hex
Yeah.
at the National. If we're going for a 5th spot, I think maybe Gina Beck.
I think either Gina Beck or Sharon Rose.
Oh, it's hard. Oh, it's difficult. If you had to commit to one, we'll do it on 3. Either Gina Beck or Sharon Rose after 3. 1, 2, 3. Gina Beck. Okay.
It's for classic roles. It's really like new roles versus classic. Nominations always end up going for the classics.
We have 5 names written down. I don't even think there will be 5 nominees, but we have these 5 names written down. This is going to be the Thunderdome. I don't even want to start thinking about who could be a winner out of this group because, fun fact, the winners are voted for by a completely different circle of people.
Yeah, it's not the same people who nominate.
So, yeah, the voters and the nominators, completely different.
It'd be fascinating to learn more about this process because it is it's so much more secretive in a way than how the Tonys work.
Yeah. Shall we inject some testosterone into our musical theatre conversation and start talking about the men, the best leading actors, the needlessly separated male half of this category, don't get me started, but best leading actor in a musical. So do you want to kick off this conversation?
Yep. I think we will definitely see a nomination for Julian Overton.
Yes. Yes, and he was my favourite part of South Pacific. That's a role that's won before and been nominated another time. So, Julian Overton for South Pacific. That was going to be my first pitch. So now I've got to think of some more. So let's talk about who's in contention here. Mm-hmm. What are the other options that we have?
So we have people like Robert Lonsdale, we have Jordan Luke Gage.
I think Jordan is going to get one for Bonnie and Clyde. But I don't think Michael is for Newsies. I think of those commercial juggernauts, I think it's going to be Jordan for Bonnie and Clyde, but not Michael for Newsies. Yeah. That's my thought. And there was... Does Legally Blonde even have a leading man role?
No, Michael would be more supporting.
I think all the men are supporting in Legally Blonde, as they should be.
So I'd now say Alan Money Abutbul.
From The Band's Visit.
From The Band's Visit.
Yeah. Again, it's that kind of a show where I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of Olivier Awards love being piled onto it.
And they were big starry names when they were announced to be coming to play those 2 roles.
Yeah, yeah, and they gave tremendous performances, very rich, layered, nuanced performances. Do we also expect to see Harry Patton?
I don't know. I don't know.
Who might push him out?
So, I was thinking that Robert Lonsdale would.
Robert Lonsdale did give a very good performance in Standing at the Sky's Edge, but I don't know if it was leading enough, and it takes a lot to compete with those classics. Again, we've seen Henry Higgins's win before, and he got a nomination for the Tonys.
Yeah.
I think he's more likely than Lonsdale.
And do you think he's more likely than Andrew Rannells?
Andrew Rannells. That's another difficult one. I'd forgotten about Andrew Rannells. So if we had to pick 2 from those 3, is there anyone else we're missing?
Let's look at the shows. Well, there's the leading actor in Mandela.
Like I said, I just don't think we're going to see Mandela featured, sadly.
Then, there is. You ready?
Yep.
Arthur Darvill.
I forgot about Arthur Darvill. I did forget about Arthur Darvill. Now I'm wondering if Jordan Luke Gage is going to get pushed out of this category because there's a lot of esteemed...
I'd perhaps say the next person that would be Arthur Darvill. Because he didn't originate the role in once, so he didn't have a chance when his last stage debut.
I also think we're just going to see a lot of Oklahoma. I think we're going to see a lot of Totoro and a lot of Oklahoma. Arthur Darvill. So now we only have one more spot. And you've said Andrew Rannells. I think it could be...
I think it's going to be Andrew Rannells.
Andrew Rannells.
I don't think Harry was the part that was beloved about when it came over. I think it was more Amara.
Yeah. So this is what we have so far for Best Leading Actor in a Musical. Again, we've written 5 down. Will there actually be 5 nominees? I don't know. There's no reason there couldn't be 6, honestly.
Yeah.
I find these categories needlessly restrictive in numbers, but that's who we have so far for Best Leading Actor in a Musical. Oh, that was tense.
It's tricky when you're not just going, oh, these are the ones I want to be nominated. It's more of a, this is what we know, this is what the patterns of what's happened before.
Yeah.
And how, in the critical and industry-wise, they've responded to it. So it's like, this is what they are likely to do, rather than what we would be likely to do if we were there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's start talking about featured actresses in a musical, which is my favourite awards category of all time.
And normally the most heated.
It is.
It's normally the hardest to put. I can give you one straight away.
You are going to say Marisha Wallace from Oklahoma.
Actually, I was about to say Beverly Knight and Sylvia, but yes.
Well, now that Beverly Knight and Sylvia is on the table as a supporting actress, I think both of them instantly...
I think both of them are instant down. Marisha and Bev.
Yeah. I say instantly. I'm still erasing the last ones. This is why we moved into the digital age. I don't know why I insisted on taking us back to the whatever year they came up with whiteboards. Best featured... Do they call it featured in the Oliviers, or do they say supporting?
I think it's featured as well.
Scarcely matters.
I don't know, actually. It might be supporting.
So we're saying Marisha Wallace for her performance as Aeron and I in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, when Oklahoma comes back to the West End imminently at the Wyndham's Theatre, it's going to be with Georgina Onwara. It's not going to be with Marisha Wallace because she's left to go be Miss Adelaide in Guys and Dolls.
And it'll be interesting to know whether the bridge up and become a SALT member.
That's next year's concern.
Well, I know.
We have some powerhouse performers. We have Marisha Wallace and Beverly Knight, and I have once again hit myself in the face with this whiteboard.
Aww.
I'm not having a good day.
So, I have a third. It might not be somebody you would say. Just straight away.
Are you not going to say Maymuna?
Yes.
Is that your third?
But I feel like there's somebody else that's like, I'd say is another lock.
Who else is lock?
Joanna Ampel.
I think Joanna Ampel for South Pacific, probably yes.
And then I'd probably say Maymuna. Because even in everything, Maymuna's been mentioned.
I hope so. I've been a fan of Maymuna Menon for years, and she gives a great performance in Standing at the Sky's Edge. So I hope she gets a nomination. But then if we have a fifth one, I really want Natalie McQueen to make this list. I really do want Natalie McQueen.
Do we think it would be Natalie McQueen?
Who else could push her out?
Nadine Higgin.
I think Natalie will stay on there over Nadine Higgin, because Natalie has a comedy role that also allows her to play intensity and darkness, and Nadine just got to play fun comedy for the summer at Regent's Park.
Trying to think if there's any other
Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's exactly what she should have done. Nadine was fabulous.
Oh, I do have one other. What?
So do I. Who have you got?
Liza Sadovi, Oklahoma.
And I have Jennifer Saunders from Sister Act, if she's being considered supporting.
Yeah.
Or Lizzie B from Sister Act. If not, And
the thing with Liza Sadovi is, Liza won last year.
Liza did win last year.
And Aunt Ella, even though you would think that if Ada Annie was there, Aunt Ella wouldn't be nominated, but Aunt Ella has been nominated before.
She has. Oh, I don't know now. This is getting tricky.
It's tricky because I think the reason I expect Standing to get acting nominations somewhere because it's the book and it's that, and they can't nominate the book. So I feel like you'll see that reflected in the actors that are performing the role, which is why I feel like Maymuna's a set.
You think Natalie McQueen's going to get pushed out? I don't think by Liza Sadovi, though. I think it's much more likely to be someone from Sister Act.
Actually, you think it's more likely to be Jennifer Saunders?
I think it could be Jennifer Saunders from Sister Act. I think if she does a stage performance, I think the Oliviers aren't going to not acknowledge her because they like to...
And it wasn't like...
They like to validate a big name.
And she was very good.
She was very good. Okay. Oh, it's breaking my heart.
I know. I think Joanna Ampel's a I think Joanna Ample's a set.
Let it be known I will be jumping up and down for joy if we hear Natalie McQueen's name on nomination day. But if I'm predicting what's going to happen, then I agree. It is 4 of these 5 names that we will see. So we have Marisha Wallace for Oklahoma, Beverly Knight for Sylvia, Joanna Ampel for South Pacific, Maimouna Menon for Standing at the Sky's Edge, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, and Jennifer Saunders for Sister Act. Interestingly, this would pit Jennifer against Bev.
Yeah.
That would be very interesting. Shall we move on to the featured actors? And I have one I want to start us off with.
Okay. Is it a
So-
surprise?
It's something we've talked about before,
Yeah.
but it would be a novelty.
Okay.
Because the Oliviers like novelty. Since
Yeah.
6 and the girls, when they decided to nominate groups of people at a time, we thought, how are we ever going to
Yeah.
see more simultaneous nominees than 6 with the 7 actors who played the tiger in The Life of Pi? They won last year for Best Featured Actor in a Play. I put to you this year that we're going to see a nomination for the Newsboys from Newsies as an ensemble group.
Which I kind of agree could happen, but will be fascinating to have that many now, if that happens, to have so many Olivier nominees exist.
But you have that with the Billy Elliots and the Matildas,
Yeah.
where they become award winners later in life, having won them as children.
Yeah.
So,
There's somebody that I could see getting a nom that I don't think you'd have instantly thought of.
who do you think that is?
Clive Rowe.
You think
Sister
Clive
Act.
Rowe is going to get one for Sister Act? I would like for him to, but I don't know if he will. I mean, he's won Olivier's before.
I think it's the fact that that role was not ever originally written for somebody of his age to be able to play that well.
Yeah.
And the fact that he did
Yeah.
makes me wonder, and it's another one of those where it's a legendary actor coming back to play a role.
It is. I'm willing to keep him on the table, but I want to write down Zubin Vala
Oh yeah, 100%.
for Tammy Faye first.
He was probably the most acclaimed part of all the reviews and the industry discussions after
So we've
it.
written 3 names for Tammy Faye so far, across all the categories, but I think if we only saw 2, it would be Katie and then Zubin Vala, I think.
It's like in the supporting actress, Amy Booth Steele would have been like further down
Yeah.
because she
Just didn't have enough material.
Exactly, out of the people that have been spoken about and that we've heard industry people talking about, it's always been Zubin and...
Yeah. But then that just makes it hard to
Katie.
predict. Sometimes we see these nominations for people who didn't have much material, but people really liked the vibes of their performance.
And that is where I think Jade Hackett comes in for Sylvia.
Yes, we were so, even on opening night of Sylvia, we were so talking about Jade Hackett being a lock for the Oliviers for Best Supporting, and then we found out that Bev was going to be supporting for Sylvia, and that just squarely
Shifted
pushes
out.
her out of that
Yep.
category, unfortunately. Gosh, this could be so interesting.
Here's another lock that I have.
Who's your other lock?
Sharifa Fifi for the band's visit.
Yes.
Because he was in My Fair Lady as well, but I think that
It's his band's visit performance.
it's his band's visit performance, and that role won at the Tonys.
It did. It did. We're writing down a lot of band's visit love here.
The Donmar do well.
The other production that we've been writing down a lot, Oklahoma.
Yep.
I think I've got to put Patrick Vale
Yep.
on here. Did he win the Tony
If-
as Judd Fry? And does he spell his name with 2 L's? These are the things I'm going to Google now. He wasn't nominated.
2 performances from Ain't Too Proud were.
And 2 from Hadestown. Wow. Well, I think Patrick Vale deserves an award nomination for his performance as Judd Fry. That completely remodels and remasters the character.
But interesting that now it's interesting off that, so now it'd be like, have the industry spoken about him enough to get them on?
This is true. This is true. Oh, it's a tricky one.
This isn't what we'd like to see, this is what we expect to see.
This is very true. And who else is in contention for these last 2 spots then? You've talked about Clive Rowe.
It's going to be from My Fair Lady that's supporting that we could see. Colonel Pickering?
He could. But I
Trying to
don't
think.
know. I don't know. I never know if that's enough material. We've got Rob Houchen in South Pacific.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Rob.
We were.
Is there anybody from Standing we think could get it?
I think Robert Lonsdale's is the strongest male performance in Standing at the Sky's Edge, and I think he is probably leading rather than supporting, but we don't know.
Oh, gosh. I was about to say different. George Maguire for Bonnie and Clyde.
George Maguire for Bonnie and Clyde, again, great. But I don't know if he can break into this category with some of the other names.
It's interesting, actually, now to look through what's remaining to think is there.
What other shows haven't we talked about?
Legally Blonde. Beauty and the Beast. Oh, Gavin Lee. Gavin Lee. If there's anybody that everybody was talking about, it was Gavin Lee as Lumiere.
So do you think Patrick Vale or Rob Houchen? Or Clive Rowe? I think Patrick Vale. I think we're going to see more Oklahoma Love. I think there's more momentum for that production. And I think this is the 5. There you go. So our featured actors in a musical, we have the Newsboys from Newsies, Zubin Vala from Tammy Faye, Sharif Afifi for his performance in the band's Visit, Patrick Vale for Oklahoma, and Gavin Lee for Beauty and the Beast. And those have been our thoughts on the categories so far. So what have we done? We've done Best New Musical, Revival, and the 4 musical performances.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to take a break there. Thank you very much for joining us for this part. And maybe we'll do another one talking about plays and creative categories as well. Or maybe we won't. Maybe we'll decide that's too challenging. Let us know in the comment section down below if that's something you would be intrigued about. And make sure to check back when the Olivier Award nominations actually do come out, which will be before too long. And we will then talk through what the actual nominations are, what we were surprised by, and whether or not we were at all accurate in trying to predict them. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe to my Stagey YouTube channel for more reviews and theatrical analysis. I hope that everyone is staying safe and that you have a stagey day.
For 10 more seconds, I'm MickeyJoTheatre. Oh my god, hey, thanks for watching, have a stagey day. Subscribe!